This is a little look behind the scenes of how I like to warm up for squats and how I recommend to a lot of my clients. Now, it's individual, so you may need to tweak a few things to make it fit well for you, but basically I'm trying to get lots of blood flow, so I'm actually physically warm. I'm trying to lubricate my joints. I'm trying to activate some key muscles and then just warm the movement up so I have lots of reps in the positions that I'm going to be when I'm actually squatting. So by the time I get under the barbell, I feel good, I feel loose, and I feel kind of like I have a little bit of pop. So the first thing I like to do is hop on the bike for about 4 to 5 minutes at a pretty good pace. By the time I'm done this, I want to have just a little bit of burn going on in my legs. I want to be breathing pretty hard and make sure I have tons of blood flow going into my legs. From there, I usually like to set a timer of like 10 to 12 minutes, and I just get as much stuff done as I can within that time and then move on so this doesn't take forever. What I like to start with are a few mobility drills for my hips. So I like to do a few groiner circles. I'm going to come out here and I'm just pushing my hips down and circling them out and around. I'll do maybe 15 or 20 on one side, 15 or 20 on the other side. And then while I'm on the mat, I'm going to do another little drill for my hips. I'm going to start with my foot pointing straight. I'm squeezing my bum so I'm not overextended. And I'm just going to go forward. I feel a little stretch in my hips. Come back, forward, back. What I'm doing is all of this movement is coming from my back leg. So I'm lunging forward, pausing for a second, then I'm actually using this leg to pull me back. So I'm both stretching and then kind of activating the muscle on the way back. So I go in and I stretch it, I come back and I activate it. I'm gonna do 5 or 6 there. Then I'm gonna bring my leg out to the side. I'm gonna now go on this angle. My hips stay square. I'm just shifting my body this way. I'm doing the same thing. This leg is pulling me back. So I'm really warming up my groin on this side. 5 or 6 like that. I'm gonna do one more coming out right to the side. Again, my body stays square, but now I'm just shifting straight to this side, and this leg is doing all the work. If on this extreme angle you're feeling this leg more, chances are it's too wide. Just bring it in a little bit closer to you, and that'll be fine. Sometimes with this drill, I like to add a little bit of weight, and that just helps you sink in a little bit deeper. So that's a nice variation. So I'm going to do some kneeling lean backs. I've done this in lots of other videos. I'm squeezing my butt, pushing the hips forward. I'm going back as far as I can, feeling a stretch through the quads, and then pulling myself back up. What I don't want to do is kind of fold forward and then come up from my knee, hip, and shoulder. Everything stays completely straight and back up. I like to do about 10 or 12 repetitions like that. Now I'm kind of feeling loose. I'm feeling good. I'm going to get into some more substantial warm-ups. While I'm on the mat, I also like to do some ab work just to make sure I'm staying in a good position when I get into my squat. So I'm gonna do a super plank or 2, which basically is just a plank for max effort. I'm trying to squeeze my butt, pull my elbows into my toes, and do this as hard as possible for about 30 seconds. You should be kind of shaking by the end of that. And then I'm gonna do some side planks. If you can do single leg side planks, that's a little bit of a harder variation. Again, just to get the core kind of warmed up and fired up. So I'll do, not super long, 30, 45 seconds per side, and then just move on to the next activity. Next, I like to do something for my glutes. There's tons of exercises you could use. I will change it up. A lot of times I'll just do some side to side shuffles, and then maybe do some front shuffles. I'll do this for usually about a minute or 90 seconds until I feel a real burn in both of my glutes. If you have one glute that's maybe a little bit weaker or a little bit less responsive than the other one, do a little bit more work for that side. So if my right glute, for example, is just not getting as fatigued as my left one, I'm gonna do more side shuffles going this way where I'm pushing off my right side than I'm doing going the other way, just so I get that one worked up and fired up. So when I get into my squats, they're both kind of switched on. I'm going to do a couple sets of some goblet squats. I like to do sets of 20, which is a lot, but the nice thing is you're really going to warm up the legs. It's a good chance to practice really perfecting some of the things in your squat. So I'm focusing on good foot grounding into the floor, squeezing my bum all the way up, keeping a strong position in my torso and not overextending or rounding in, locking that down. So again, when I get to the barbell, I've got all that practice. After I do the squats, then I like to do some Cossack squats. And this I'll do 10 per side. So coming in here, I'm pushing off of this leg. Then on here, I'm pushing off my right leg to open up the hips more. Come around here. Come with me. It's a bit messy over here, but that's okay. Then I'm going to do 10 glute ham raises just to warm my hamstrings up. Oops. Let me not crush this microphone pack. Right, so I'll do 10 of these. Warm my hamstrings up. And then depending on how much more time I have, I usually have enough time to do the squats, the Cossacks, the band walks, and this one more time. Then I have done a ton of warm up in a pretty short amount of time. I'm usually feeling good, and I can go hit some massive epic squats.